Good afternoon. My sincere thanks to Mr. Anil Cook and Mr. Ganesh Devanagam, everyone at the CTTA, also Mr. Niraj Dimel, Sri Lanka Tea Board for giving me this opportunity to speak at this very prestigious event. It's a deep honor for me to stand here for the simple reason that from the time I was a boy, I used to hear the word tea being tossed around. And then the reason for that is because my father was in the tea industry. Then my brother and I joined the tea industry. And then when it was time for me to get married, I happened to marry someone whose father was in the tea industry. So you can say I was born into tea, I got into tea, and then I married into tea as well. Anyway, my topic today is recyclable packaging solutions. And all I want to do is basically touch on the simple area of how do you make flexible packaging recycling, because that's where the challenge is. What is flexible packaging? It's basically the laminates that you see up there, where you have different layers of plastic pasted together, which is absolutely necessary for your packaging in tea. So my goal today is to convince you on three things. First of all, I'm not here to sell a product, but I just want to tell you, number one, I want to convince you that packaging has to be sustainable. And I think we have discussed it already about sustainability in tea, and I believe packaging is no exception. Secondly, I also want to show you that sustainable packaging is sought after globally, and there's no two words about that as well. And then finally, leave just one little idea in your head of what you can do and just show you that it works. So let's get started. So as you know, we are all very clear that Sri Lanka produces the best tea. There's no two words about it. And the role of packaging, what the role of packaging does is it actually makes sure that it dresses up your tea to face the world. So we, in the packaging industry, we say that there are 5 components that are extremely important, and those are the ones that's there on the screen there. It needs to be compact, which means you have to pack anything between 2 and 2 grams to 200 kgs. It needs to communicate, which means it needs to grab attention on a shelf. It also needs to conserve, which means there is a barrier that is required to make sure that the tea lasts a long period of time. It also needs to be convenient, where people need to carry it around, and it needs to be easily disposed as well. And most importantly, it also needs to be cost effective. But of late, we have seen this whole area of circularity, the 5th or the 6th C that people are talking about, and it's being talked about quite a bit right now. Now, why are they talking about that? I believe pictures paint 1,000 words. We are all very clear. So I believe a picture paints 1,000 words. A recent document that was released by the Paris Agreement basically gave these numbers, which are quite staggering. They said that global plastic packaging market will have a compounded annual growth of about 4.1%, so which means it's not decreasing anytime soon, but it's only increasing. Plastic production, use, and disposal contribute to about 1.8 billion metric tons of carbon emission annually. The annual cost to fight carbon or to fight climate change, protect biodiversity, and cut pollution is projected to cost nearly $5.5 trillion annually. And what's worse is a third of global plastic packaging leaks into the environment and finds its way into the sea or into a waterway. So many people say, let's ban plastic. I would agree if they would give me an alternative. But as you know, there are very few alternatives available that would meet the 5 C's that I just talked about. So today we even see, we spoke about one law that is there, and this is another law that is gathering a lot of momentum. It's called the Extended Producer Responsibility Law. What does the law say? It simply says that as a producer, as a brand owner, or an importer, you need to make sure that you are responsible for your packaging. In other words, you need to collect it back, you need to do something with it. You need to either reduce it, you need to reuse it, you need to recycle it, or you need to refuse it, and if you don't do that, you need to pay for it. So this law is coming to effect. It's already there, in fact, in Sri Lanka as well, since I'm involved in the Institute of Packaging. The law has also already been drafted. It hasn't been rolled out yet, but we see that it's happening, and it's happening very soon. So how can you do this? So how do we do this? So we know that packaging in the past, what we did was we basically took some raw materials, we made a product out of it, we used it, and then we just disposed of it. We didn't think too much about it. But as you know, packaging that you see on the screen there is non-recyclable, and basically it goes into the environment and it will be there for the next 100 years. So what do we do? What is the next best thing that we can do? So basically, there is this new thing called the circularity of plastic, and this, what it says is we need to collect it back, we need to recycle it, and we need to make other products out of it. But the question is, how would you do that when your packaging is not recyclable? It's quite a challenge, right? So we need to make sure that we recycle it. So today there are quite a few challenges. We need to find plastics that are recyclable. We need, when you need customer appeal, there is different kind of printing that's needed, and that has inks that are not sustainable. What do you do about that? And then of course you have this whole concept of life cycle assessment, where they're looking at the whole life cycle from the start to the finish, and they're saying, this is the amount of carbon that is emitted, we need to really look at that. So what is the way of the future? So what we can propose, or what is proposed globally, is that you go to the experts. And the experts, and when I say experts, that's the World Packaging Organization. They say they released a paper a couple of months back. And in the paper, they have done a study together with the University of Applied Sciences in Vienna. And basically what they say is that recycling is the way forward. The most efficient, the most cost-effective way forward is basically recycling your packaging. So the question is, how do we do that? And if you really look at Europe, you can see like the numbers, the gray graph there shows the amount of virgin plastic actually coming down. So Europe is actually doing something really good about it. And the blue numbers that you see there are the recycled plastic actually going up in numbers. So we see that Europe is actually doing something really good. And we know that even 25% of the plastic is actually polyethylene that they are recycling. So this is some really good news that's happening. And so what do we do from there? So if you take a normal pouch that you have, or a normal tea bag envelope which you pack with metallized film, it is not recyclable. Why? As I show on the screen there is a print layer which is maybe polyester or something like that. There is, BOPP or something like that. There is a barrier layer which is metallized polyester, and there is also a sealing layer that is polyethylene. So these are three different polymer types which are absolutely impossible to be recycled. So what do we do? So there is this new concept that has come out now, where all three polymer classes are actually polyethylene. So your print layer can be polyethylene, a very special polyethylene, which you can even grab your print on. Your sealing layer is already polyethylene, and then your middle barrier layer is a polyethylene with a metallized polyester coating. So this actually fulfills not just 5 of the C's, it also fulfills the last C, which is circularity, which is the most important C. So this product has also won multiple World Star Awards. It also carries some really good certification for recyclability, etc., etc. So if you actually look around the world, there's quite a few products that are available now, and here are some pictures of it, just focusing on the tea industry. And you probably know this product already. It's in your pack that you received. This is actually made out of that material, and your pack also has a brochure that tells you more information about this. So in conclusion, the word sustainability, I believe, has been the backbone of this convention. It has been used by most speakers with the future in mind. In conclusion, something to think about. Sustainability is no longer about doing less harm. It's about doing more good. Whether you like it or not, it is the need of the hour. Our choice would determine our own sustainability. Thank you very much.